As you've been a long time in Berlin, how we started.
We are live. Welcome everybody to the 12th edition of the Arab Film Festival Berlin, taking place virtually as a home edition via the platform of Indie Kino Berlin, and of course via Zoom and Facebook. My name is Iskandar Abdallah. I am a programmer at ALFILM, and my guest is the Lebanese director Ahmad Ghossein, whose feature film Jadar al-Sawt, or All This Victory, is definitely one of the highlights of our official selection this year, and the film about which we will be in conversation with Ahmad in a minute. Welcome, Ahmad, and we are very happy to have you with us today.
Thanks for hosting me, and I'm really happy to take a part in ALFILM Film Festival. It's an honor.
Thank you. So Ahmad is a filmmaker and visual artist born and based in Beirut, Lebanon. He studied theater at the Lebanese University of Beirut and visual art at the National Academy of Art in Oslo in Norway. He directed several short films. To mention here is his short debut, Operation NB, that won the Best Director at the Beirut International Film Festival in 2004. Sahih, Ahmad?
Yeah, it's the graduating film, yeah.
And My Father is Still a Communist, that was screened also at the Berlinale, among other festivals. And All This Victory is his feature debut, and it was screened in several festivals around the world. I will not mention all of them, but it also received several prizes, but above all, it also won the Audience Award at the Venice International Film Critique Week. All this victory is presented to us in ALFILM this year in cooperation with the Rosa Luxemburg Foundation. Before I start my conversation with Ahmed, I just would like to remind the people watching us at the moment that they can ask questions to Ahmed directly by leaving a comment on this live video in Facebook, and I will try to go through all of the questions. Ahmed, how are you and how is Beirut?
Yeah, all's fine. I don't know. I mean, Beirut, it's complicated to talk about Beirut nowadays because you know, it's after the blast, after this economic crisis, after and now Corona, of course. I mean, it's it's tough. It's tough. I mean, you can feel that this city is trying hard to stand again, and I mean, most of the people leaving, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And we are saying goodbye daily to a lot of friends. Most of them are leaving to Berlin, so you're gonna expect a lot of Lebanese again. But yeah, I mean, we're trying hard here to stand, and you know, there was really an optimistic moments, and when the revolution came, and thousands of millions of people were in the street, we were hoping that the change will happen soon. But yeah, again, the Corona came, and this economic crisis, it make the things tough. You have this it's ironic through the history how this country is passing every 15 years.
Yeah.
Through a civil war or difficulties, or it's tough.
Yeah, but we Egyptians say about the Lebanese, they are masters and survivors, and so I hope things will be getting normal soon. And
yeah, absolutely. But in when it comes to the reactions on all this disasters, let's say, or crisis, we need time. We are still in the reaction, you know, still in the middle of it. It needs time to digest and to start to analyze, and you know, I don't know, it will take time to be able to talk about it even.
Yeah. Anyway, let me begin by telling you that to talk about All This Victory, had a wonderful cast, amazing actor, and worth mentioning, of course, is the outstanding cinematography by Shadi Sha'ban, I think. But what was really unique, and I think it had a huge impact on creating this thrilling atmosphere and keeping us captivated in front of the screen for 90 minutes or 94 minutes, is the sound design. And I wasn't surprised because Ranai, the sound designer, is a very talented, definitely maybe one of the best sound designers in the Arab world at the moment. But what is important, I think the sound design was also crucial to the narration of the film itself, and the way how it maintained the tension through this dramatic interplay of the breeze sounds, footsteps, and then the falling rockets or the missiles, and of course the music. So would you like to elaborate a little bit about your cooperation with Rana? How did you work together? Was there, I had the feeling that maybe there was a script already for the sounds,
Of course.
maybe before shooting or during shooting.
Of course, before shooting, yeah.
Ah, interesting.
Okay, so I'm a director that really busy in I don't know, working more on my cinema language, on my let's call you know, the language that try to combine this poetic feeling and the philosophical ideas into a narrative and a story. And I'm in every film I'm doing this experimental between where is the story will come in front and how my cinema language will be in the back, or the vice versa, and how the characters. And I hate sound at the beginning. So, but in every film, I found myself had a big challenge with sound and writing things for the sound. Maybe because I'm really, I don't understand the sound, how it will work. And maybe I'm a bit scared from the sound as a filmmaker, even though, and I don't like the filmmakers that they really use the sound as, you know, as a second layer, or just like, as just a follower for everything. So, and I don't like this. So the first challenge was with My Father Is Still a Communist, where it's all about this video cassettes, tape cassettes, memories, archive of my mother and my father. So in every film, I have a I don't know, I have a special way on how to deal with the sound, maybe because of the fear. So when I wrote this film and I came to Rana Eid, which is, of course, we are lucky to have Rana in Beirut, the Arab world. But when I came to her, I think it's a dream for any sound designer, mixer, or engineer to have a film with only sound, you know, like to give them a film, half of it is sound. So she immediately said, this is the dream for any sound designer. Like, finally, there's someone in the Arab world, she said that, I'm quoting, like, is thinking about the sound as a big section and as a parallel for the image. And so we start to work hard on it, and not only about not only the sound as an effect, or not only the sound as adding of the fear of adding of the atmosphere, but the sound as a body by itself, on how to be a narrative by itself, and how the sound and the non-sound also to be a big element in the film. So yeah, we start to work hard on, first, of course, we wrote a script for the soldiers. We wrote and we would get busy on how to record these things and how to achieve the feeling that I want to achieve. Second is how the sound be a language by itself, to add not only in helping the characters, but to be a character by itself, moving around the characters. You know what I mean? Like the sound was an element that give them and take from them at the same time. And at the same time, the sound of those characters were also affecting the soldiers, that affecting the sound. So it was taking and giving from them. The absence of the sound was a big thing in the film also. And the thing, so we achieved and we worked hard really in every small element, in how we record every element, on how we add every layer of the sound. And then when it comes to the music, I was so lucky with Khayyam Al-Lami. He based in Berlin now also.
Yeah, I know him,
Yeah, so we were lucky because he really understands exactly what is this film about. And of course, we agree immediately that there will be no melody in this film. Like there's a big sound part in this film, so the music will be also sounds, small melody in it, you know what I mean? So we start to work on how to take sounds from the metal, how to take sounds from, what does it mean to have a sound in a catastrophic place? Does the music be a design at some point, or the design will be music at some point, like the bathroom scene, like example. So we start to, you know, I was lucky to be surrounded by people that really understand immediately what I was trying to achieve, or what I was trying to deliver to them, and we worked together. And I think the final result was I'm satisfied.
Yeah, that's super interesting, because that's what you were saying was also my feeling, that the sound was really a character in this film, and maybe like a main character.
Yeah.
And also you mentioned that the absence of the sound was also part of the story. And so this actually, that's why when I recommended to my friends to watch this film, I say that at least you have to watch it with a headphone, just to feel the nuances of the narration. And I like the fact that this film is like really, you know, we don't see this very often in Arab cinema, like to really to deal with the sound like in every detail and try to tell the story through the sound. But this brings me also to the Arabic title of the film, because in Arabic the film is like Jadar al-Sawt, or like the wall of the sound, and in English it's All This Victory. So why we have different titles? And regarding the English title, whose victory and who claims to be victorious? Who's claiming this victory?
The title of the film, if you go and to check the grants that this film took, you will find different titles all the time, because I was changing the titles while I was working on the film. I don't know why. So every time I arrived to reach to a point, especially like the writing process was really hard. I mean, to write 5 characters in one place, and to write about the 6th character, that's the father, to write about the 7th character, that's the sound, in one place, and you don't want to go into dialogue to explain your character. It was tough. It was a hard process to write this. I will never go back to one room film, 5 characters stuck in it. So every time there was a feeling that I arrived to this, so the title should be like that.
Yeah.
And finally, when I get to the political essence of the film, of course, that I knew from the beginning that I want to do a critique about this victory that we are Arab obsessed with. Yeah, we never lose. We are always winning, even though it's open to discussion. It's very critical. You go in every war, and I live in the war. You don't win literally. You need this win for your ideological projects, but you lose something from your humanity. So you don't win at all. And this is an Arabic problem. So when I arrived that there is a critic about, of course, because for me Israel is an enemy, so I don't need to explain anything. But when I arrived to have a critic about ourselves, how we think, and kind of critic against Hezbollah, more or less, that how he is, you know, jumping from a war to another war, and how we always declare a winning without like taking into consideration a lot of elements, and how we are losing every time. I was like, okay, All This Victory is the title. So the main title was for me All This Victory, which is clearly a critic about, or trying to open a discussion and to critique this mentality of winning. But then it was just pure technical, let's say, because when I went to translate the title, I hated completely. كل هذا النصر. And I was like, this is not a title for a cinema film. You know, this is not the title for it. كل هذا النصر, it can be like a shi'ar, you know, like a slogan, but not title for the film. And I was in a studio with Rana, and we start to talk. And of course, Rana always obsessed with the sound. So,
yes.
And we were, at this point, we were just like, you know, digging into the library to have this jet flight sounds, you know, because Jadar Sot is also about, you know, how you cross the barrier of the sound. And we were like, okay, so there's the walls, there's the sound, there's Jadar, and Jadar is this plane. So it's all these elements that it can work in it. And I didn't mind to have Arabic and English title. I think now I regret it, because it should be ironic in both Arabic and English, maybe, but I don't know. But I'm still insisting that All This Victory is كل هذا النصر is an Arabic title. That's why
maybe a little bit heavy, like I mean, I like the fact that there's these parallel titles, and it's enriching the film somehow. And of course, I mean, for me it was obviously ironic. I mean, seeing Marwan in the midst of the ruins, and then All This Victory. Yeah, we see All This Victory. So and of course I can relate. This is an Arab phenomenon of like not specific to Lebanon.
Absolutely. And I want to say like just 1 second, because I mean, you know, Karam is my brother, and he was first time acting, and I think he did an amazing, great job. And until now, I'm receiving a lot of feedbacks that he's a great actor. So it's great. Butros and Adil and Isam, and even Sahar, the lady, is first time actor also.
First time also.
Yeah. So it's only the 3 men that they are, two of them were my professors in the university, and Isam is a colleague. So I mean, I salute them and pick them. Yeah, unfortunately, we lost Adil Shaheen
Yes.
before even watching the first cut, and that was a big loss for the film, for us, and for, of course, for the acting in Lebanon, for this section.
Yeah.
He's a great actor, and it was really awesome. And I mean,
Adil was playing the old officer who was in Israeli prisons.
Yeah, and he died at the end of the film.
Mm.
So, and we lost him while we were editing.
Mm.
And you know, it's very rare to find 70 years old actor in Lebanon. This talent, so it was really rare, and unfortunately he didn't act for 20 years, and then he went back and he did 2 films and 2 main roles, and he passed away. So ironic.
Allah yarham. We left interesting role for every actor. I mean, it's he was also amazing on the screen, to be honest. But coming back also to the film and this kind of generational gap embodied in the relationship between Marwan and then this group of gathered old men in the shelter of in the south. And what was interesting for me that this gap was not necessarily about condemning the old generation and whose dreams were like liberation and change, and then ended with continuous wars and destruction. But I felt that you also kind of attempting to question the passivity or helplessness of the younger generation. So what did you want to say with this kind of contrasting this generations in this difficult situation, of course?
Yeah, I mean, when I talk about, when I start to write an idea or talk about it, I try always to start from the idea and go somewhere else. So if I'm like, you know, catching this generation issue, I always try to put it under in a subtle way. And I think in this film, there's a lot of ideas that I want all of them to put them in one space with 5 actors. So there was a lot of layers, and some of them you need to analyze it more. Some of them are not that clear, and some of them are in front of you. But I always don't like to put everything in front of the spectator, like everything in front of who's watching. I want him to dig with me, and I want to take him in a journey. I want him to feel more. I don't care if he understand or not. That I don't want him to, you know, to put a spoon in his mouth. So the generation thing was like, it came spontaneously. Like, there's a man who have a big issue with his father. So it's a film about father and son, but not everything is in front of you because the father is always absent. So there's an issue between him. And of course, this is an issue of generation, definitely. But then he gets stuck with 2 friends of his father from an older generation also. And this man, of course, represent the younger generation here, but not in a literal way, you know what I mean? So he wants to leave the country as anyone here, but he don't want to leave the country, and he don't know why. Like me, like we are all living in this empty circle in Lebanon, like on the Arab, like we know that we should leave. We know that this is not anymore a good place to live, but at the same time, we are here. You know, and this is not only the idea of home, and I want to be home. This is a way of, like, I like to have my characters as a passive aggressive, you know. This is a way that they are what do you call, like انه خانعين لمصيرهم, يعني their destiny is like that, so they are not able to fight, you know. I don't believe in these films that they're really putting the heroes fighting. And so and the same question would, like, why those people, the older or the villagers, let's say, when the war started, they don't leave, and this question will stay in the air, like logically they should leave immediately when the war happened, but they don't leave, and we don't know why they didn't leave. Because also, I'm not putting any slogans that they are resistance and fight and the heroes. And, they're just villagers, people staying there. No logic reason why they don't leave, but they are there. You know? This young man, he hates his father. He have a problem with his father. He go there. He solved the issue with his father by meeting the other generation, the friends of his father. They talk about his father. He knew things that he didn't know about it before, but it's all while his father is not there. and we don't know what happened to the father at the end. Okay,
Yeah.
you can get it that he died, but you don't know.
Yeah.
So, and this man is in an empty circle all the time. It's Karam, Marwan. So he have a guilt feeling that he have to go to rescue his father, but at the same time, you have no idea why he went there. I mean, what? And he gets angry why he didn't call me. I mean, he's not there. He left. Why he didn't call me even? So it's a generation issue to say that, yeah, this generation here want to leave, have no ideological project, and all those old generations were fighters. Most of them were leftist. Maybe there's a hint that they are leftist.
Yeah.
There's a hint that they were fighters against Israel. There's a hint that this father was a leader in the leftist party and communist party, but it's all hints. You don't get it really. But what you get is this man like have no choice. He have to go to bring his father, even though he don't know that much about him. So and he have to leave the country.
And I mean, I just also felt that there is the way how the older men were like dealing with the situation of the war. I felt that we are like more relaxed. Maybe it's different. Of course, because there's a different experience of dealing with war. But it's also interesting that, in fact, I had the feeling that Marwan's decision to go and pick up his father is also a way of fleeing the decision of leaving the country. I mean, this also, I felt that.
It can be. But I think it's also like, there's this guilt feeling that, the guilt feeling that take my characters. And I'm noticing it that I'm doing it, I'm repeating it in many films, in many short films, and this film, like the passive, the what do you call the withdraw, استسلام يعني للمصير, عدم مقاومته. So there's this drive always that take them to make actions.
You shooted let's say part of the film in Zabadani in Syria, and I mean this issue was treated controversially in different venues, but just maybe you can elaborate
Facebook,
on Facebook. Yes, how did you came up with the idea of shooting in Syria? And was it were the missiles also real or just the ruins, like the rocket falling?
No, there's this there's a 3 shots, the last scene in the film, those 3 last shots, and 2 shots in but it doesn't matter. There's only few shots, let's say, from Syria, from Zabadani.
Okay,
but it doesn't matter how many. We went there and we spent 1 day there, and we shot there. So and I wrote this in many newspapers. So the idea came that in many levels, So first level was we need a instruction for this film. Especially this film is not literally about 2006. It's about war that critique, as I said, Hezbollah, that critique the people behind the war, or the party behind the war, but in a balance that doesn't make it also supportive to Israel. So there's this balance that I'm focusing in here, not focusing in Israel because it's the enemy by default. There's a layer that I don't want this special effect thing. There's a layer that the image of the destructions of the war, we see them many times, that they become dirty by itself. I mean, even though there's a political political aspects or political reason in each war that's different from the other. Like 2006 and Zabadani and the Syrian war, they're completely different politically. But when you go there, you get shocked that they are really the same. And I was like, okay, so Assad destroyed exactly that, like Israel. So if I can, and I was like, okay, since I have the permission for that, and there's no one critique the permission, because you take a permission, and that doesn't matter if that doesn't mean that you are supporting the one that you took permission from him. Because in Lebanon, you have to take permission from any political party. You cannot not to. I mean, you go to any mountain in Lebanon or to any territory that have any political party control it, you need permission from it. And even in the history of cinema, a lot of people who filmed under dictator regimes, that doesn't mean that they are supporting. They were cheating and take permissions and even take some money sometimes and critique this regime. So these ethical issues, I didn't have it, especially that myself as a director politically everyone knew where I'm standing, you know, like I'm against this regime, like against the Assad. The only friends that I have is the oppositions in the Syrian revolution. So, but then I said, okay, so if I get this chance, and the film it happened, and I'm not interested in 2006. Also, I'm interested in, you know, putting reflects on what's happening in our Arab world here and there. Why not take some shots from there? Especially that you go to YouTube and you find them everywhere. It becomes dirty, this image by itself, you know what I mean? So why not put this? And if I said that this image is coming from Syria, from Zabadani, at the end of the film, then I'm saying that this image is coming from there. So you can do the connection. Maybe I can add one layer, you know, on the film. That, okay, so even this is coming from there, and I'm critiquing the one who destroyed it. So I'm critiquing also there who did the war. So if the clever audience or the critiques, and some of film critic find this connection, and if you don't find this connection, politically, this film is against the one who destroyed Zabadani at the same time. So I took this decision. At the same time, also, you know, like I didn't expect that. I mean, I was expecting this critique when they watched the film. I didn't expect it before watching the film. I didn't expect it even when I just announced that the film is in Venice. They start to attack immediately, and I didn't reply. And I didn't expect that if I didn't reply, they will continue, you know, this attack under unethical. Unfortunately, those are the lectures on our Arab world. You know, I didn't till now. I will not understand how you can write an article about a film without watching it, even if you are writing an article about the location. And most of the film critics, they were really shocked, like how you can write about a location in a film. You don't write, because you have to write how they use this location. Did they use this location? Did they use to add a political layer on it? Did they use this location against it or with it? So then you can write as much as you want after watching the film. And most of the people who watched the film, they changed their mind. I mean, they were having this issue at the beginning, and then they found that politically, this film is against.
And you didn't have problems like getting the permission or like interventions in like asking you what content or.
No one saw the script at all. No one, like even in the South, we filmed in the South. I mean, if you put your camera in the South, after 5 seconds, they will come to we took, like, I don't know, like tons of permissions. In Lebanon, you need permission from every neighborhood, from the army, from the police, from the political party, from different sections in the political party. So I filmed in the South. So I use the permission I need the permission from Hezbollah if I'm filming in the South. I'm filming in the house, I need the permission, but if I'm filming in the street, I need another permission. And in Lebanon, like, because we have it, we deal a lot with the production companies in Syria, Damascus, that have this TV series. So it was easy to take a permission that, okay, the production company in Lebanon with a production company in Syria, getting this permission, they come here to shoot, we go there to shoot. So there was no, like, everyone was like thinking that there is a law conspiracy and there's, I don't know, connections with the office. Not at all. It wasn't. We paid money. We hired the production manager in Damascus. He get us the permission, the location. We went there. We filmed one day and we came back. It was with this production manager, with this company, with us. I mean, so.
I think it's important not to leave this like uncommented and to give you the platform also to clarify how this was you and for what decisions. I personally, I see like what you're saying, that of course there is something that is very specific about the Lebanese experience of war. It's not only one war, it's like a sequence of war, and everyone records the memory of the other and so far.
Exactly, and then this layers will delete itself, and that's.
But also, as you say, this film for me, as someone who's not Lebanese, but also transcends the specific particular experience to the human experience of fear and of the situation of war in general. But I also understand that for some this is a very sensitive issue, and why maybe.
Yeah, I mean, after that I tried to say like, okay, I apologize 1 time or 2 times if I hurt the feeling of anyone. That wasn't the intention at all. I didn't want that at all. But unfortunately, no one heard that. They want a scandal. I mean, this what pissed me off. But But at the same time, I mean, if you see all these YouTubes and all this drone showing these destructions in Halab, and the horrible thing about it is your eye get used in it. So it will become a normalized, it will become, the destruction become normal. The thousands of buildings got destroyed, the cities on the ground become normal because the image is very strong. But after a while, it become normal. And I'm trying to play against that. You know what I mean? I'm trying not to normalize it. That's why when you see these 3 shots, we didn't even, like I admit when I arrived there, I mean, I don't like to shoot destructions. I don't like to shoot, but like, because I know that from when I was a child. Like I lived in the South. I know the whole war. Like there was, like, I lived 4 wars. You know what I mean? So I know, and I'm very like tricky not to shoot, especially at the first days of any disaster, of any action. There's how to shoot a disaster or how to shoot destruction. It's really very, very tricky. And so that's why, I mean, even the camera was a bit shy. She's not going into the location. She's not like occupying the location. He's standing there. It's from the distance. We respect everything. So it's, I mean, some critique was saying, yeah, but you didn't use them that much. You're insulting this. I was like, this is bullshit. I mean, go to YouTube and your eye will get used into this, that you will shut your laptop and you go and you continue your life. And this film is playing against that.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, all this victory is your debut, and this is a great achievement for a debut film. And really, I wish we were able to screen this here in Berlin with you, and we can interact directly with the audience. But hopefully, maybe there would be a chance. Are you working already on your next project?
I'm trying to write in the middle of this crazy situation that in Lebanon would make you really blocked, because it's tricky. Also, you don't want to work around anything that's happening here. It's too early. It will be a reactionary, but at the same time, it doesn't make sense to think about something else completely. So I'm trying my best to, I'm already writing, but let's see.
We would gladly love to have you with your next project, but maybe hopefully also with all this victory in Berlin. Thank you very much, Ahmad. I'm personally very glad to have a conversation with you.
My pleasure.
And
thanks for this chance. And I mean, I was waiting for this film to be screened in Berlin, and since also my brother Karam, the main character, he lived in Berlin, and a lot of friends, and also like this. I mean, this festival, I heard a lot of this festival since long time, so it was a pleasure to be here. Unfortunately, not in the cinemas, especially in this film, as you said, it needed sound. But hope one day we'll be back.
Hopefully. So Karam lives in Berlin, Khayyam lives in Berlin.
Exactly.
Join us all. Thank you very much, Ahmad. And I just want to remind all the people who are watching us that they can still watch our films on Indie Kino until the 30th of April. Thank you, everybody, and see you soon.